get a reprobate mind. You get a reprobate mind. It won't be a good thing.
Shalom, man. Shalom, Mr. Love.
Don't get a reprobate mind.
Mr. Love, how you doing, man?
Wisdom is worth more than anything. When you let go of the wawak, that's the biggest mistake you could ever make. The Most High will give you over to a reprobate mind.
We'll be getting started.
Turn you over to the enemy.
All right.
When you go back, you lose. When you leave the Father's side, you give up on the Holy Spirit.
You forgotten the feast day. You forgotten everything you're doing is worthy. You're risking everything. You're risking everything. It said you can't be lukewarm. You can't serve two masters. It's totally impossible. It's totally impossible. Said the word is slow. Said the word is slow. Starting to slip away. Starting to slip away from your heart. From your heart. Yeah. And the stakes are high. Said the stakes are high. If I was you, I wouldn't take that chance. If I was you, I wouldn't take that chance. Take that chance. Oh, if you lose for gospel, what you get a reprobate mind. You get a reprobate mind. You get a reprobate mind. Yeah, and you don't want that. If you lose for gospel, what you get a reprobate mind. You get a reprobate. You get a reprobate mind. Reprobate mind. It won't be a good thing.
Get a reprobate mind. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, evil-mindedness, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
Said the word is slowly, starting to slip away, from your heart, from your heart. And the stakes are high, If I was you, I wouldn't take that chance. I wouldn't take that chance. No, I wouldn't. Yeah. For gospel, what you get a reprobate mind. Get a reprobate. Get a reprobate mind. You get a reprobate mind. And you don't want that. If you lose for gospel, what you get a reprobate mind. Lose everything. You get a reprobate mind. Lose everything. It won't be a good time. If you leave, you no more. The Most High will give up on you and let you go. Hey, you don't want to lose wisdom.
Okay, my brothers, we're gonna go ahead and start. Seems like we the only ones gonna show up, it look like. But we got some good information that we're gonna share. Shalom and good evening to everyone. I am Achaz Edna Amihud of the tribe of Judah. I am the chief ambassador of the Second March to Exodus movement. Before we get started, I would like to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yeshaya, and Ruach Kadash, and to say a prayer to bring us into the second march to Exodus conference. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And deliver us from evil. Temptation to deliver us from evil, that is the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. So be it. I would like to welcome you all to the second march to Exodus Movement Conference, which shall be held each Tuesday and Thursday at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time, the Most High willing. After I'm done speaking, I will be opening up the mic for questions. Please raise your hands, and we shall go in the order in which the hands were raised. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I have a bachelor's of science and paralegal studies from Kaplan University of Chicago. I graduated from Kaplan University of Chicago in 2009, cum laude, with a GPA score of 3.59 under the corporation name Oscar Lee Washington. After graduating from Kaplan University, I enrolled with Concord Law School of Los Angeles, California, but was being called to the second march to Exodus movement by the Most High Ahaya, and given the biblical Hebrew name Achaz Edna Amihud. Okay, you may want to get a pencil or a pen and paper to take down notes. First and foremost, I want you all to understand that I personally do not have anything against any biblical Israelite camp the Most High has chosen and has ordained to wake up the sleeping Israelites. I actually and truly believe that if it was not for the camps, the Most High has ordained to wake up the sleeping Israelites that have lost their true nationality and identity, hidden in disguise as a so-called nation of black people and are African Americans, according to Jeremiah 17, chapter 4, that says, "And thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not." They will still be sleeping. So, I command each and every one of the camps. However, once we are awake, we have to ask ourselves, okay, I'm awake. Now what? Now what? What we do now? Our people are still being murdered with impunity, being thrown in jail and in prison for 30 plus years or even for life for stealing something such as a sandwich. I'm talking about a victimless matter where there is no victim, which is very significant. We are awake. We are awake now, but being awake does not protect us. We still have no protection. With that being said, that brings us to the second march to Exodus. What is the second march to Exodus? Let me begin by telling you what the second march to Exodus is not. The second march to Exodus is not an Israelite camp. It's not an organization or a corporation. The second march to Exodus is a spiritual vision and a movement that was given to me from the Most High, according to Proverbs 29, chapter 29, verse 18, that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." The second march to Exodus movement is geared towards bringing the biblical Israelites of the Holy Bible that are in disguise as so-called blacks and are African Americans back to the Most High Ahaya by way of the scriptures of the Holy Bible and the law of man that actually came from the Holy Bible. For example, Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, "Thou shalt not kill." The United States, we have two forms of government that many people don't even understand that we have. We have the United States, which also has statutes. The United States deal with statutes, and they have a statute that says that is against killing. And we have the United States of America, the several states of the Union. The United States of America make up all the several states of the Union. The president, Trump, is the president of the United States, but all the governors of each state of each state is the president of that state. A lot of people don't know that. So the United States of America also have a law that is against killing. However, our oppressors that has placed us in disguise as so-called blacks and our African Americans has twisted the law, and has made everything non-criminal criminal against us under color of law. If you all understand, you all need to write that word down and do some research on color of law. They have us in disguise as so-called blacks and our African Americans, according to Psalms 80, chapter 83, verse 3 through 4, that reads, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and they consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." However, the Most High Ahaya, Be'ashem Yeshaya HaMessiah, and Ruach, the Holy Kadash, has brought to my mind who we are as a people, according to John chapter 14, verse 26, that says, "But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance." If your ancestors came to the United States of America and other parts of the world by slave ships, then you are a biblical Israelite, according to Deuteronomy 28:68, that reads, "And the Most High shall bring thee unto Egypt, which meaning bondage again, with ships, by the way where I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen." So how can the Second March to Exodus movement benefit and protect the biblical Israelites whose ancestors came to the United States of America and other parts of the world by slave ships? The Second March to Exodus movement will help bring us as biblical 12 tribes of Israel whose ancestors came to the United States of America and other parts of the world by slave ships back together as an Israelite nation. The Second March to Exodus movement will do this through a process called the Sovereign Israelite Declaration and Tribal Identification Process. The processes consist of you answering multiple questions regarding why you believe that you are one of the 12 tribes of Israel. How you answer those questions will determine if you shall continue to the completion of the processes. If you are able to continue, it will also determine the donation you will contribute to the movement to complete the processes. You must first go through these processes and to be a part of the spiritual Second March to Exodus movement before benefiting from the movement. Once again, you do not become part of any camp, organization, or corporation within the Second March to Exodus movement. What are some of the benefits of being part of the spiritual Second March to Exodus movement? There are 5 major benefits we will be focusing on tonight. Benefit 1, you will receive a list of biblical Hebrew male and female names with the meaning of the Hebrew names you choose for you and your family, according to Revelation chapter 2, verse 17, that says, "He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and I will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name, written which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth." Benefit number 2, you your wife, your children will receive a sovereign Israelite declaration that declares your true Israelite nationality by blood and your dual American nationality, National Republic nationality by birth, on paper, to present to our oppressors at any given time or when any given situation requires. Benefit number 3, you and your wife will receive a wallet-sized and badge-sized Israelite tribal identifications to present to our oppressors at any given time or when any given situation requires. Benefit number 4. You may make a donation for your own Royal Biblical Israelite International flag. Benefit number 5. You may get your Israelite automobile tags to place on your private automobile to travel without driver's license under your Hebrew name, declaration, and tribal identifications. There are so many benefits from being a part of the spiritual second march to Exodus movement. However, our focus tonight is on those 5 benefits that puts you in the position of receiving all the other benefits. The benefits I just mentioned starts the process of bringing you as a biblical Israelite in and under the protection of the law. By going through the processes and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it declares you a lawful, in-rum, neutral, alive, breathing flesh and blood Israelite, man or woman. This is a Latin word that means in the nature of things, in existence. Right now, they have us as corporations. They really don't recognize us. This is why they are able to murder us with impunity, because we're considered corporations. We're not considered alive. We're already dead. To them, we're already dead. There is no such nation called blacks. There is no such nation called African Americans. So we're dead, actually. So this phrase would be used. This phrase is spelled, in rerum natural. This phrase would be used in a plea against the government in a counterclaim if they were ever to bring a charge against you, against any one of us. This is a benefit. This is a benefit, in regards to fighting them in a court of law. We would allege that the prosecutor, the code enforcers, which are the police officers that brought the charges against you in a victimless matter. When I say a victimless matter, I mean something like a traffic violation, selling weed or something like that, where there is no one that's being harmed. We can do anything we want to do as long as we don't trespass against anyone. We got that right, So we would bring a counterclaim against them, and charge them with a crime, because once they bring a charge against you, if they don't have standing, they can't do it. They can't bring a charge against you. Matter of fact, they can't bring a charge against you saying whatever state you reside in. Like if you reside in Michigan, if you reside in Ohio or Indiana or California, and they say California versus you, versus Mr. Lowe, or California versus Yeshaya. That's it can't be done, because the state is a fiction. It's a corporation. That's why when they bring a claim against you in your government name, your government name is a corporation. So therefore they could do that because you're dead, and the state is dead too. So they actually bringing charges against a person that they consider dead. So we would allege the prosecutor, code enforcers that brought the charges against you in a victimless matter are actually fictitious persons. They are fictitious, and therefore not capable of bringing the action against you. I would like for you to write those words down. Google and research them. They are spelled RERUM, and the other word is NATURA. By going through the second march to Exodus processes, and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it declares you a lawful sojourners. This means you're special and unique according to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. And you all know what that says. That says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye shall show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You know, we are special. We are peculiar people, but we're not claiming it. We're not claiming it. We keep claiming that we're black. We keep claiming that we're African Americans. We're not claiming that we're Israelites, biblical Israelites. That's where our protection lies, right there. I would like for you all to write those words down. Google them and research them. They are spelled SUIGENERIS to see what they mean and to get understanding. By going through the processes and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it makes you a lawful transit foreigner. I would like for you to write those words down and research them. They are spelled TRNSIENT, foreigner. That's the first word was transit. The second word is foreigner. That's FOREIGNER. By going through the processes and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus processes, it declares that you are. It declares. One moment. Excuse. Now, where was I? Okay. I would like for you to write those words down and research them. You know, transit foreigner. Transit, TRNSIENT, foreigner, FOREIGNER. By going through the process and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, Exodus it declares that you are not a citizen of the United States under federal statute 8 USC 1401, etc. of the federal territories, possessions, commonwealth areas of enclaves within the state pursuant to 28 USC 1746-2. I would like for you to write those codes down because those codes are very important. Because 28 USC gives you a description of what I said earlier, that there's two governments. Notice that it has the number 2 there. That's the second government. That's considered the second government. Like I said earlier, the first government is the United States of America. Then they created another government, which is the United States. Like I said earlier, Trump is the president of the United States, and all the governors of each state of the union is the president of that state. That means that when they created that second government, the United States, they created so-called black people that also, you know, that is citizens of that United States. And every time the Trump them sign a law, the blacks, so-called black people who consider themselves black and citizens are corporations, just like that United States is a corporation. And they are, you know, they are required to follow those laws and those rules. And that's why when they murder one of our people, they always say that it's justified homicide. So I would like for you to write those codes down, Google them and research them. Those codes are 8 USC 1401 and 28 USC 1746-2. It's which is the United States, but not the United States of America. By going through the process and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it declares you a lawful non-resident. I would like for you to write that word down, Google it, and research it. That word is non-residence. One moment, I gotta take this call for a minute. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about it. I would like for you, like I said, I would like for you all to write that word down. Non-residents. Because by going through the process of being a part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it declares you a lawful non-resident. That's important. That's important because when you say that you're not a resident, that means that you're not subject to the United States. You know, when you say that you're a resident, if you have a zip code, that means that you're in the zone of the District of Columbia. That means that you're part of the United States, which in all reality that you're not. You're actually not. And that's why you are their subject. So like I said, I want you to write that word down, non-resident, and research it. By going through the process and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, it puts you back into the biblical ambassador, diplomat, Israelite by blood status. See, we actually are above our oppressors. We are actually ambassadors. The Bible says this. The Bible confirms this. That's according to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20, that says, now then, we are ambassadors for Christ, as though power did beseech you. By us, we pray you in Christ, Steve, be you reconciled to power. That means, come on back. You know, you are ambassadors, you're a diplomat. You're higher than anybody else. You're higher than all these so-called government diplomats, ambassadors. You know, we're ambassadors of the Most High. Thus says the Most High, power concerning Edom. Even Obadiah says this. That's why we're waking up. We are ambassadors. We are waking up. And this is what Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1 says. Thus says the Most High power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Most High, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. That's Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. And then you know, I want all of you here in this conference to know that according to Ephesians chapter 6, 18, verse 20, I'm praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints, and for me, that an utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I might speak boldly as I ought to speak. You know, by going through the processes and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus, it declares you a lawful American national republic by birth, as defined in 8 USC 1101 A 1421, a non-citizen dual national, as defined in section 101 A21 of the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA. I want you to write those codes down. 8 USC 1101 A 1421. Google it and research it and see what it says. I would like for you to write the Immigration Nationality Act down. Google it and research it. It's 101 A21 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. These acts are very important for us. It's very important because this opens up your eyes to what they are doing, how they're doing it, and how they're keeping us oppressed. You know, how they are able to go into our house and shoot our people while they're living in their house, how they are able to stop us in cars. But see, if we get these declarations and the IDs, and we give the automobile tags, and we give it to them when they request your identification, they have no jurisdiction. But once you give them a driver's license, which belongs to them, the driver's license belongs to them, and your registration, once you give it to them, boom, you're in their jurisdiction. They can do anything they want to, because what you did when you gave them that driver's license, it's saying that I'm a government subject. I'm subject to the government, meaning that you belong to us. You are property. You know, that's what they're saying when they ask you for that identification. But by going through the process and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, you are declaring that you are not a so-called sovereign citizen. See, a sovereign citizen, you can't be a sovereign citizen. I'm not saying that we're sovereign citizens. I said that we are sovereign Israelite American national republics. We're nationals. We're not citizens. We're nationals. Because when you say you're a sovereign citizen, you're saying that you're free, but you're also a slave. So what you're doing is you're canceling yourself out. It doesn't make sense. You can't say that you're sovereign and a citizen at the same time, because a citizen is a slave and sovereign is free. And that's why when you go and say to the people of the power that be, I'm a sovereign citizen, they'll look at you and put you in jail. You know, as a matter of fact, they killing people who call themselves sovereign citizens. So you are not so-called black or so-called African Americans or African American nationality or descent. I would like for you to write that word down, sovereign citizen. Google it and research it. It's sovereign citizen, to see what they say about a sovereign citizen. By going through and being part of the spiritual second march to Exodus process, you are declaring that you are a biblical citizen of heaven. Domicile, you need to write that word down. Domicile is spelled Domicile. Domicile, that's very important, because you're saying you're domiciled in a state. That means that you belong to that place when you don't belong to that place. So you're domiciled in the kingdom of heaven here on earth, according to Philippians chapter 3, verse 20 through 21. The way you understand what I'm talking about, you would have to look in the New International Version, because it actually gives you exactly what I'm saying. It gives you exactly the wording. Philippians chapter 3, verse 20 through 21, the New International Version says, but our citizenship is in heaven. See, it's in heaven, not here on earth, not here in any state, not here in any government. And we eagerly await our Savior from the Lord, from the Messiah, Yeshua, who by the power that enables him to bring everything under his control. See, that's why everything is not under his control. We're not recognizing the control that we truly have. We're recognizing the government control over us. So we're going through what the Most High, he created us sovereign. When we were born, we were sovereign. But when our parents accepted and signed that birth certificate, we were signed over to the government. See, as black people, as so-called African Americans, and our parents entered into contracts with the government. We got to rescind those contracts, because that's why, like I said, when they stop you in your car, they ask you, in your automobile, they ask you, where's your driver's license? Because you gotta confirm to them, hey, look here, I'm operating under your authority. That's why they ask you, do you understand why I stopped you? They're not asking you the natural word of understand. Do you understand? They asking you, do you stand under my authority to operate in this color of law, in this fake law? So, Apostle, what I'm talking about, Apostle Paul also says that he was not a citizen of any city, according to Acts 21:39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew, a Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city. See, he's saying that he's not a citizen of any city. See, that's what Paul says. Paul actually is part of how we come back to the Most High and get out of this system. And he said, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. If you call yourself and consider yourself to be a citizen instead of sovereign, then you are a slave. By going through the spiritual second march to Exodus process, we are letting the power that be know that we are from the biblical southern state nation tribe of Judah and or the biblical northern state nation of Israel, directed by the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Spirit, of the Holy Bible. See, we're not directed by man's law, but we go by man's law. But the real law comes from the Holy Bible. So this is what we're saying when we declare our true nationality, our true Israelite nationality. We're saying that we belong to the Most High. We don't belong to the government. See, by going through the spiritual second march to Exodus processes, we are letting the power that be know that we are located inside the United States of America, the several states of the Union, and not the United States. Remember, I said the United States of America and of the Union, pursuant to 28 USC 1746. 1. The first one I said was 28 USC 1746-2. This one I'm saying 1. If you see it on the screen, you'll see the difference. It says outside of the United States. It says that, you know, you're operating outside the United States. Well, if it says that you're operating outside the United States, then what is the United States of America? See? So that code, you need to write it down, which is 28 USC 1746, and look at 1. And all the other places of the world, that's we're operating inside the United States of America and all other places of the world internationally at all times, but not in the federal territories, possessions, commonwealth areas, or enclaves of the United States. Like I said, write that code down and Google it and research it. You know, because you're looking at 1746-1 and 1746-2. It's basically telling you that there's two governments. You know, you're operating outside the United States when you are dealing with 1746-1, and you're operating inside the United States when you're dealing with 28 USC 1746-2. What the Most High is having me to do is nothing new. Apostle Paul did the same thing according to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 18 through 20, that reads, I say then, have power cast away his people? Power forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham. Right there, he's declaring who he is, right there, of the tribe of Benjamin. Power hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Wot you not that the scripture says, Elias, how he maketh intercession to power against Israel. You see, Paul in Ephesians says that he is an Israelite nationality by blood. And in Acts, Paul said he's a Roman nationality by birth and was protected according to Acts 22, verses 25 through 29. Acts 22 verses 25 through 29 says, and as they bound him, now this is important, check this out. This is important because this is what they do to our people. As they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman? Remember, he said lawful. He didn't say legal. See, that's a play on words. Paul said, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman? Now, see, that's what I'm saying by his two governments. We dealing with the United States and the United States of America. What we should be saying, is it lawful for you to scourge when they do something to us, our people? Is it lawful to scourge a United States of American, United States American? That's what we should be saying. We shouldn't be saying, is it lawful to scourge a United States, an individual of the United States? So Paul said, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? See, they killing us as African Americans and blacks. We're condemned. We're condemned as talking about we're a nation, a black nation, and a nation of African Americans. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, "Take heed that thou does it, for this man is a Roman." Then the chief captain came and said to him, "Tell me, art thou a Roman?" He said, "Yeah." And the chief captain answered, "With a great sum obtained I this freedom." And Paul said, "But I was freeborn." In other words, the captain asked him, how much did he pay for his freedom? Paul said, "I ain't paid nothing for my freedom. I was freeborn." That's we was freeborn too. As I stated earlier, the Most High, when we was born, we were sovereign the day we were born. But we turned around and gave our sovereignty away to our oppressors through birth certificates, the driver's license, the social security numbers. We got to take it back. We got to take our nationality back. We got to rescind those contracts that we entered into. And then with a great sum obtained I this freedom, Paul said, but I was freeborn. Then straight away they departed from him, which should have examined him. They left him. They left Paul because Paul said, "Look here, I'm not subject to your government." And the chief captain also was afraid after he knew that he was a Roman and because he had bound him. Paul says that he is an Israelite, dual Roman national republic. He is uncondemned and protected. This is the same thing the Most High is having me to point out to all of you Israelites, that as a nation of Israelites, dual American national republics, we are uncondemned. However, as a fake nation of blacks and our African Americans, federally regulated United States citizens, we are condemned, and we must get into our proper status. In 2015, I'm gonna show you how that this actually works. What I'm talking about. In 2015, me and other Akims were in New York preaching in front of the United Nations regarding the murdering of our people. We were arrested for disorderly conduct twice by the New York Police Department. If you look at that picture, you see what they holding up. You'll see they holding documents, and if you could see, you see at the bottom it says sealed. See, we didn't get no attorney from the government. We didn't get no state attorney to fight this case. I fought the case. I did it. I filed all the documents and had this case dismissed, and it's sealed. You can't open it. You can't find out what if we were even never charged. You see, they also have their identifications, with them. See, that's what I'm saying. This is very important. This is only one instance about what I did, but there's other people that's not here with us in this room right now that can also bear witness that what I'm talking about, having your Israelite identification and your Israelite declaration, is protection. Now, if all of our people was to understand what I'm talking about and get with me and declare their nationality, receive the declaration, get the identification, and when they are confronted with the police, and they even if they was to arrest them, we would have a network where they would be able to call, and we would call into the police station and say, "Hey, do you have one of the Israelites?" We wouldn't even say anything about them having them in jail as under their government slave name. We would call them because they're going to tell them my name. They will give them their Hebrew name. So, but I know that the police is going to fight and say, like, what is your government name? They're going to fight up and down until you say your government name, but you don't do that. If you go to jail, you continue to say your Hebrew name. You don't go to jail under your government slave name. So therefore, when they arrested us, they arrested us under disorderly conduct twice. Disorderly conduct is a victimless matter. This is what I'm talking about, a victimless matter. When I say a victimless matter, there's no victim. There's nobody that could claim that I harmed it, that we harmed them. So they had to let us go, So we gave them our government identification. We gave them our government identification, but by the mighty power of the Most High, I was able to have our all charges dropped at our arraignment. But when we went to the arraignment, they called us out to the out in the hall and told us your cases have been dismissed. And so I asked them for the disposition, and that's what those papers are: the disposition of them dropping the case. So at the arraignment, by filing and answering to the charges, and I also counterclaimed them. See, when the police arrested us, since there was no victim, they claiming that they are the victim. They claiming that the state of New York was the victim. So what I did was counterclaim. I counterclaimed them. I brought charges against them. See, because they lied and said that we harmed them when that was a lie. How can we have harmed them when they was nowhere around while we was out there preaching in front of the United Nations? So they brought a bogus charge against us. They believe me, brother, they hurried up and dismissed that case against the prosecutor. And you know what I'm saying? We counterclaim against the prosecutor and all other police officers that brought the charges against us without any of their attorneys. Once the government charges us with a victimless matter, I'm talking about the United States or one of the several states of the Union versus you, and we go to court as a so-called black person or African American without you knowing it, there is an allegation that you are a corporate defendant, not a in rem neutra equivalent to averving that your all caps name and you are fictitious. They saying that you are fictitious, you know. So nevertheless, if we go into court to fight that victimless matter in our proper biblical Israelite dual American national republic status and file a counterclaim against the government, we will be able to make the allegation that the government officials that brought the victimless matter against us is not a rerun neutra equivalent to arriving that they are a corporation and fictitious. See, these corporations we dealing with, they will run. They will run once you do a counterclaim because they don't have what you call standing. If they're not the real party in interest, then they can't bring a claim against you. That's the truth. They can't bring a claim against you. There's no crime. Thus, you know, it's a good thing to become part of the spiritual second march to Exodus movement. You know, because that's what it's all about. You know, declaring who we are and letting them know that we're not a United States government corporation. So that ends what I'm saying about, you know, how important it is to become, you know, get your declarations and your identification. So now I'm going to open up the mic so that you may ask questions. Please raise your hand and we shall go in the order in which the hands were raised. My brothers, do y'all have any questions? Okay, Yeshaya. Go ahead, brother.
I guess I made the mistake by giving my government corporate name when I got locked up last month. My question is if I could do it all over again, I would have presented my Hebrew documents, but I still wouldn't know what to do after doing that. Seeing how I can't fully, I don't think I'd be confident in a courtroom. Would it be best to remain silent after presenting my documents? Because I wouldn't know.
See, that's what this is all about. You know, once you declare your nationality, your true declare your nationality, receive the document, receive the IDs, then you know you know, no matter what you do, if you charged with a crime, a victimless crime, what is you charged with though?
I had the wrong license plates on the car.
See, that's a victim. Who is the victim, since you did that? Who did you harm by doing that? You ain't harm nobody. There's no victim. Nobody you didn't hurt nobody, did you?
No, sir.
That's right. So therefore, that should have been dropped. That should have been dropped. If you would have been in your proper status, we could have had that dropped. Like when you say like, well, when I do that, how do I, what else do I do? Well, that's what this is about. This is what this movement is about. You know, I said earlier that if you was to get put in jail, and see, once you get into this, the processes, once you go through this processes, you will start learning more and more about what you need to do, what you need to say, you know, when you come in contact. Well, not only that, you will have your declaration, you will have your identification. See, first of all, when you give them that, you already saying that, you know, you're not a government subject. You're not a subject. See what I'm saying? So what you need to do, since you'll be just coming into the truth by on paper, the truth on paper,
Yeah.
you will know enough to hold your oppressors at bay until somebody come in and help you, like me, like myself. You know what I'm saying? You would get in, you would have a network. We would have a network to contact somebody. You would let them know, or even if you're not arrested, you would call me and tell me, hey, look, I got charged with a charge. What we going to do? How we going to deal with this? And then I'll tell you, okay, what is the charge? I ask you what the charge is, and then we'll go from there. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll file some documents in the court on your behalf. You know, there's other things that you would need to do. You would need to, like, create a power of attorney. You know what I'm saying? For me, in order to speak for you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, yeah, going through the processes, this is only some of the benefits. There's more benefits to it. It's much more benefits. Okay, did I answer your question, or do you need some more information?
You did answer that question. I just want to follow that with, let's say I get locked up and I don't have a means of getting a hold of you. Is it best to, like, give your information to next of kin or something?
Right. Yeah. That's what you call next word. Yeah. You will have someone call. You'll say, call this brother. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
You
my
will have.
sister got your information right now.
Does she?
Yeah, sir.
Oh, okay. Do your sister? She on Facebook?
Yes.
So she been following me, or what? Are we like friends or what?
I don't think so. I think when I first met you, I had made my payment for the my documents through her at the time.
Oh, did you?
I believe so.
Okay. So you, but you didn't get your identification, did you?
Yeah, I got all of that. I ain't got my I got my wallet size, and I got my larger one, and I got my papers. I want to get that driver's license plate.
Okay. Well, look here. I take down my new page information, my new page, because evidently you were one of the ones that I first started. That was with me when I first started. You know, back. What year was this? Did you do this?
I want to say this is probably 2017, 16, something like that.
Okay. See, many of y'all, I said when I was in my other page, I told y'all that I was making a new page. You know,
Yeah.
I explained to y'all that I was making a new page, but you all, every time I contacted you all, y'all didn't answer or something, and therefore I lost contact with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to give you my new page, and you know, you're gonna have to stay in the network. You're gonna have to stay with the network. You know, if you want to get help, you know, in regards to this matter. Write my name down, Chaz Faraz, and put the middle name in there.
Can you spell your middle name again?
Adnah.
Yeah, Adnan. Yeah.
Amihud.
Okay.
Okay, I want you to send me a friend request through that at that name. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Lowe. You have any questions? Hold on. Let me unmute the brother.
Job. If I change my name or everything to my natural Hebrew name, does that affect my employment? I go to them personnel and come out of
No,
that government name and give them
no,
my
no, no, brother. You don't come out. You don't come out of that government. You come out of the government name, but you take control of the corporation.
yeah,
You still gotta live. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you gotta still live through that corporation.
yeah,
So no, you don't get rid of it. So you gotta know when to transfer. You know, you
yeah. When the transfer, I hear you.
yeah,
I understand exactly what you said.
from your Hebrew to your government. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The only
yeah,
thing you doing with your government, that's your corporation. That means that that's your business. You see what I'm saying? You do everything through your business. You live, you work, and you receive funds through your business. You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
yeah.
They're saying that you're a corporation, but when you get out of your when you get in your proper status, you start owning your corporation. See, it's like if the police stop you in your automobile, your private automobile, who are you? Who are you, Lo?
I'm gonna be in my Hebrew name then.
That's right. That's right.
That's when I'm
That's
pulling
right.
the credentials out.
That's right. That's right. And
Yeah,
guess what? And guess what? You got to understand that they're gonna always try you though. They're gonna try you out. You know, so you're gonna have to think about how you want to go about it. Are you ready to stand up for the truth? Are you still want to stay in a lie? You know what I'm saying?
well, I want to come out of slavery.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what this is all about.
Mm,
That's what this is all about. So the
yeah,
only way you're gonna come out of slavery is stand up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's why
right,
we got to come together, and by us standing up, we got to have some support as well.
right.
See what I'm saying? If you get arrested because you stood up for yourself, then somebody got to call one of us and say, hey, this brother's in jail. So therefore, the more people we get, the more I'm going to call and say, hey, call the jail and tell them, look here, y'all got one of our people in there, one of our Hebrews in there. We ain't going to say one of your government names. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
We're going to say, you got one of our Hebrews in there. When you going to let him go? You know, that's why when you go into jail, when they put you in jail, the first thing they ask you to sign documents, right? They ask you to sign documents. They ask you, you know why they ask you to sign documents?
I believe they want you to sign over something or whatever piece of
Exactly.
rights you got.
Exactly. Exactly. They want you to sign over your rights. They want you to give them permission because they don't have permission to have you in their institution, their facility. See what I'm saying? When they say they want to take fingerprints, they want to take your picture, and they say here, sign here before you even take a picture. You saying, okay, I give you permission to have me in here. If you don't sign, that means that they kidnapped you. You understand?
Right.
Yeah, they kidnapped you,
Okay.
and that would be a reason to counterclaim them. You know what I'm saying? You would bring a counterclaim against the facility and the sheriff or the chief of police. You see what I'm saying? Who
So
got you in there?
don't pull that in your government name though.
No, don't pull it in your government name. You ain't gonna. It ain't gonna. You ain't gonna. You know that's right. See, well,
Yeah, I feel you.
this is called reverse psychology.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
yeah.
Now, see, the
Well,
more people we get doing this, the more power we have. Because you never get an attorney from these people, because that's what it is. The word attorney means to turn over. You know what I'm saying? To turn over your authority to them, to the attorney. See, that's why you never get an attorney. But if you do get an attorney, you make sure that he's going to agree to do what you tell him to do.
so
You see what I'm saying? And somebody got to watch that attorney. See what I'm saying? So it's a lot to learn once you come into the truth and to over and get and declare your nationality and get a declaration, get your identification. As we go, you will learn more and more and more. What we're trying to do, we're trying to get a building to start, start school, start a school so we can like, really start teaching,
Yeah.
our people what needs to be done when they come in contact with the government,
I'm in
So,
the state of Michigan. Where you at?
oh, I'm in the state of I'm all over the place.
I know. I see that. I see you pop up in a lot of places, helping others out.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm like the Messiah, man. I don't
yeah.
have no way to place to lay my
Yeah.
head. I am where I am. That's another thing. When they ask you where you reside at, you tell them you reside within yourself. I always say that. If they ask you where you from, you say from my mother. Or if they ask you where you live, you say I live within myself. You see what I'm saying? Never say
Right.
that you reside anywhere, because if you say you reside somewhere, that means that you are a slave. All right.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
So did you take down my name, Lo?
You message me on Messenger. Is that the website I can use?
Yeah, that's my name. That's my name. You can friend me at that name.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send you a friend request. I thought we was already friends, but the next thing with me is me and my wife. I have told her about this process, and I have spoken to you over time. I have watched you, and what it's going to take for us to get started here.
Jeff, the first step is to friend me. You probably was my friend, but that was on my other page.
Okay.
You probably is my friend, but that's on my other page.
Are you familiar with this redemption manual?
Yeah. We don't want to deal with that redemption. We don't want to deal with what to say? Something for yeah, I know about all what you're saying, but it's past my mind because I don't deal with it.
Yeah, okay.
We don't deal with accepted for value and stuff of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're talking about, except for value.
Yeah. I started kind of reading that to try to get an understanding, so it would enlighten me on some things that I can use from it. But
man, you know what? If we wasn't in the time that we in, I would indulge more into that redemption thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we at the end, there's no
that I believe. I feel that with everything that we are in the end time.
Yeah, we came up on that redemption stuff a little too late. That's that accepted for value and trying to what do you call it? Trying to set off our debt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Trying to buy houses with paper, by doing certain things like, that stuff. That's we passed that. We way past that out.
All right. Well, let me see. I'm trying to make sure I ask you what you feel about exiting out of here, period. Like leaving the United States, going to Ghana or something like that.
Oh man, look, okay, why would you go from one captivity to the next?
To the next.
You know what I'm saying?
And why you say that?
Because you're gonna be subject to Ghana. You're gonna be subject to Ghana. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be in another corporation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. When the Most High said, when we exit here, we supposed to exit it to the wilderness, huh?
Right.
We ain't supposed to go into nobody else's country, under their authority. You see what I'm saying? Ghana talking about they got land for us and everything, but guess what? We subject to them. We would be subject to them. We would have to follow their laws, their rules, and everything. So why would you go from one slave plantation to the next? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've been hearing about things like you should be trying to purchase property in the wilderness of Kentucky, in the farmland, somewhere all out the way.
But we already got a property. We already got land. The Most High promised us land, huh?
Land, okay. So I should be worried. Things I shouldn't be worried about. I should start off right here then.
Yeah, you should be. Right. You should be. We should be like establishing something here to us to concentrate on Exodus out of here, like you said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But not to nobody else's country, to our
Right.
own land, our own
Okay.
land. You know, so that's what it's all about.
All right. Well, I'll hit you up on your website and get that information to me. My daughter will be 18 next month, so.
Okay, then that means she'll be considered grown. That means she can go through this by on her own.
Oh, yeah. So
You
other
know?
than that, all the other kids is gone. It's just me and my wife, and this is her last year at school. So I have spoken with her about this, and you know, as we being enlightened, I'm trying to. Well, the Sabbath is tomorrow, so I do observe the Sabbath.
Okay, all praises to the Most High. Okay,
All
hold on. Yeshaya, you got something to say? Hold on.
Deuteronomy 28:68.
Deuteronomy 28:68.
Yes, sir.
What about it?
Now, what's the flip side to that? Because when you're talking about the second march back to Exodus, what will be the means of transport for us getting up out of this place and going back to Israel? Will we be taking boats back to the west coast of Africa and walking back?
We'll be flying back. We will be flying back. You know, the ships of Tarshish. You heard of the ship of Tarshish?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but that ain't for us. You see what I'm saying? Hold on for a minute. Let me get something real quick. I want you to if you got your Bible,
yeah,
I want you to go to Isaiah chapter 60 verse 8.
Isaiah 60.
Yeah, I want you to read Isaiah chapter 60 verse 8 through 9.
Isaiah 60 verse 8 through 9.
Yeah.
What are these ships that skim along like clouds?
No. Hold on. Let me read it. All right.
Yes, sir.
It says, "Who are these that fly as a cloud?" See, remember I said we're gonna fly.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as the doves to their windows? See. Okay. It's giving you two indications. First of all, it's telling you right out who are these that fly, and in the sky as a cloud. Then it says doves. Doves flies too. Okay. And it says to their windows. To our windows mean to our land. That's our land. And then verse 9 it says, "Surely isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring the sons from far, their silver and their gold with them." See, that's another thing why we're not ready to leave here. We're supposed to leave here with silver and gold, just like we did in all our other Exodus. You know, talking about Exodus from Egypt, Exodus from Babylon, you know, Persia. You know, we was given silver and gold with them unto the name of the Most High Ahia, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he had glorified thee. See, this is just telling us that when we leave here, that we're going to be leaving here with silver and gold. You see what I'm saying? We're supposed to leave here with silver and gold.
Okay. We ain't talking about airplanes, though, are we?
Yeah, we're talking about airplanes. What you think? What you think we're talking about? Spaceships?
You know, I might be on YouTube a little too much. I done heard it all.
Yeah, I know. I done heard that too. You know what I'm saying? Spaceships. You know, and remember that the power that be has laser shows and stuff like that. You know, people seeing stuff in the skies and everything. You know what I'm saying?